The world holds its breath when Donald Trump speaks about China. Every word, every phrase is analyzed not just by politicians, but by investors, business leaders, and ordinary people across the globe. His words can shake global markets and redraw alliances. A single comment can send stocks soaring or tumbling and force governments to reconsider their strategies overnight. In early 2026, we're seeing this play out again. Newsrooms buzz with speculation, and analysts scramble to predict the next move. A single Trump statement can send shockwaves from Wall Street to Shanghai, impacting economies and livelihoods in ways that are felt almost instantly. This isn't just about two leaders, it's about the future of the world. The decisions made now will shape international relations for years, even decades to come. Trump's first term launched a trade war that changed the US-China relationship. Tariffs and tough talk became the new normal, and the world watched as tensions escalated. Tariffs became his weapon to force China to change its trade practices. Billions of dollars in goods were caught in the crossfire, affecting businesses and consumers worldwide. The effects of that trade war still linger, setting the stage for today's even more intense confrontation. Many industries have yet to recover, and uncertainty remains high. Now, the conflict has expanded beyond trade to national security, tech dominance, and global influence. Issues like cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and military power are now front and center. Trump's recent statements suggest a more aggressive, comprehensive strategy. He's signaling that the US will push back harder than ever before, on every front. Countries everywhere are reevaluating their positions between these two superpowers. Allies and rivals alike are weighing their options, knowing the stakes have never been higher. The core issue: a clash of interests and values. America first versus China's rise. It's a battle not just for economic power, but for the future direction of the world order. With Trump's latest moves, global uncertainty and anxiety are surging. Investors, leaders, and citizens everywhere are bracing for what could come next. The world is left asking, what happens next? As tensions rise, the answers remain uncertain, and the stakes could not be higher. To understand today's standoff between the United States and China, we need to revisit the pivotal years of Trump's first presidency, a period that dramatically reshaped global trade dynamics and set the tone for the current rivalry. Trump repeatedly argued that China had taken advantage of the U.S. for decades, pointing to massive trade deficits, lost American jobs, and widespread intellectual property theft. He made these issues central to his campaign and presidency, vowing to take action where previous leaders had not. Unlike his predecessors, Trump was the first president to take direct, aggressive action, imposing sweeping tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. These tariffs marked a sharp break from decades of free trade policy. The goal was clear: make Chinese products more expensive for American consumers and, in turn, boost U.S. manufacturing and bring jobs back home. The administration hoped this would level the playing field for American workers and companies. The move was deeply divisive. Some praised it as long overdue, while others warned it would lead to higher prices for everyday goods and spark chaos in global supply chains. The debate raged in the media, in Congress, and on the streets. China quickly retaliated with its own tariffs on U.S. goods, especially targeting American farmers and agricultural exports like soybeans, corn, and pork. This hit rural communities hard, leading to uncertainty and financial strain. This tit-for-tat escalation lasted for years, with both sides raising tariffs and tensions. In 2020, a Phase 1 deal was signed, but it left many of the most difficult issues unresolved, offering only a partial truce. Most tariffs remained in place, and the core complaints, like forced technology transfers and market access, continued to fester beneath the surface. The conflict was paused, not ended. The underlying tensions and mistrust persisted, shaping every interaction between the two countries. The trade war forced companies around the world to rethink their supply chains. Many shifted production to countries like Vietnam or Mexico, seeking to avoid tariffs and reduce risk, which began to reshape global manufacturing patterns. It deepened mistrust and rivalry, not just between the US and China, but also among their allies and trading partners. The global view of China shifted, from a potential partner to a formidable competitor. The baseline for US-China relations became one of tension, suspicion, and strategic competition, with both sides preparing for a prolonged struggle. This new foundation makes today's standoff even more precarious, as both nations remain wary and the world watches closely. The world is still feeling the aftershocks. Markets remain volatile, businesses are cautious, and uncertainty lingers over the future of global trade. The stage was set for a new era of confrontation, one that continues to shape the global economy and international relations to this day. Fast forward to January 2026, Trump's rhetoric and actions have intensified. He's proposing a universal baseline tariff, possibly as high as 60% on all Chinese imports, a dramatic escalation. Trump also wants to further restrict Chinese investment in the U.S., especially in farmland and tech firms, citing national security. The administration aims to build a higher wall around the American economy. He's pressuring U.S. companies to pull out of China, using tax incentives and government contracts as carrots, and hinting at penalties for those who stay. The message severs the deep economic ties binding the two countries. Trump delivers these proposals directly, often via social media, bypassing traditional diplomacy. This creates volatility. Each announcement is scrutinized worldwide. Allies, adversaries, and investors scramble to discern real policy from political posturing. The result, a constant state of uncertainty. The world is left guessing what's next. The stakes have never been higher. China is responding to mounting U.S. pressure with a blend of strong rhetoric and carefully calculated moves, signaling both defiance and strategic patience on the world stage. Beijing has sharply condemned Trump's proposals, calling them reckless and short-sighted. Chinese officials warn that these actions will not only damage both the American and Chinese economies, but also disrupt global trade networks and threaten worldwide economic stability. In response, China is doubling down on its dual circulation strategy, which is designed to reduce dependence on foreign demand and imported technology. The government is investing heavily in boosting domestic consumption, nurturing homegrown innovation, and building up high-tech industries like semiconductors and green energy. Ongoing tensions with the U.S. have only accelerated China's drive for self-sufficiency, pushing the country to innovate faster and become more resilient in the face of external shocks. China also has powerful tools for retaliation. It can impose tariffs, create regulatory hurdles for U.S. companies, and leverage its near monopoly over rare earth minerals, critical components for electronics and defense industries, giving it significant leverage in any trade dispute. On the diplomatic front, China is working to strengthen its relationships across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Through initiatives like the Belt and Road, it's positioning itself as a champion of free trade and development, offering infrastructure and investment to countries seeking alternatives to Western influence. At the same time, China is actively trying to drive a wedge between the U.S. and its traditional allies, using economic incentives and diplomatic outreach to encourage closer ties with Beijing. Beijing's message to the world is clear. Countries don't have to pick sides in this rivalry, but those who deepen their relationship with China stand to gain significant economic benefits, from trade deals to investment opportunities. This global outreach is part of a broader strategy to isolate the U.S. diplomatically and build a coalition of nations wary of American unilateralism, shifting the balance of power in China's favor. Ultimately, China is playing a long game, adapting to each new challenge, refining its strategies, and positioning itself for greater influence in the decades to come. The rivalry between the U.S. and China is now truly global, touching every continent and industry, and the stakes for both countries and the world are only getting higher. America's allies in Europe and Asia are caught in a bind. They share U.S. concerns about China's trade practices and military assertiveness, but fear Trump's aggressive approach could destabilize the global economy. European economies, especially Germany and France, rely heavily on exports to China. A U.S.-China economic war would be devastating for them. European leaders prefer a nuanced approach, engagement and pressure, not confrontation. They're trying to carve out an independent path, not just follow Washington. In Asia, allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia face even tougher choices. Their economies are deeply linked to China, but their security depends on the U.S. siding too closely with either risks economic or security fallout. This pressure is straining alliances, with some countries quietly hedging their bets. Many are strengthening regional partnerships that exclude the U.S. The Fear America's go-it-alone strategy could alienate the very partners it needs. The global coalition against China is far from united. The U.S.-China conflict is sending painful ripples through the developing world. Many nations in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia have benefited from both superpowers' trade and investment. Now they're pressured to choose sides, a choice most want to avoid. Siding with one risks losing aid, markets, or investment from the other. A global trade war slows growth, lowers commodity prices, and strains government budgets. Some hope to attract new factories as supply chains shift, but instability makes investment risky. Both the US and China are courting these nations with aid and influence, turning them into pawns in a new great power competition. The fear: there'll be collateral damage in a contest they never asked for. Financial markets hate uncertainty, and the US-China standoff is fueling it. Every Trump statement or Beijing response sends tremors through global markets. On harsh rhetoric, stocks fall. On hints of negotiation, they rally. Tech and industrial companies with China exposure are especially volatile. Investors now factor in political risk, not just earnings. Many are moving money into safer assets like bonds and gold, making it harder for companies to raise capital. Currency markets are also shaken. The yuan weakens, the dollar strengthens, impacting trade. Oil, bonds, and commodities all feel the shockwaves. The financial world is on edge, bracing for every new twist. No corner of the market is immune. The stakes are global, and the risks are real. The world is watching and reacting. The US-China conflict now centers on technology and security. Both sides see tech dominance as key to economic and military power. The US has imposed export controls and blacklisted Chinese firms like Huawei, aiming to slow China's tech rise. China is pouring resources into homegrown tech, racing for self-sufficiency. The world risks splitting into two incompatible tech ecosystems. Security fears drive the push for decoupling. US agencies warn of espionage via Chinese tech. This isn't just about gadgets, it's about who controls information and future military edge. The tech war is fierce, and the stakes are existential. The divide is deepening, with global consequences. The US-China confrontation will shape the 21st century. It's not just a political story. It affects prices, jobs, and global stability. The clash is about competing visions for the world: democracy and free trade versus state control. The outcome will impact everything from human rights to climate policy. Uncertainty is the biggest challenge, making it hard for nations and businesses to plan. Full decoupling could trigger a global recession. A military clash could be catastrophic. Managing this rivalry without open conflict is the urgent diplomatic task of our time. The world is interconnected. Shocks in Washington and Beijing ripple everywhere. The decisions made now will determine if we face a new era of division or find a way to coexist. The world is watching, and the stakes couldn't be higher.